Hey, welcome to this week's Live and in Person on YouTube. My name is Scott Smith, and today we have SpaceX.
David.
Hey, David, are you getting an
SpaceX.
echo?
I'm no echo for me. I've got my headset on. I can hear everything normally.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Are you hearing an echo?
Let me. I'm sorry. Technical difficulties.
No worries at all. Oh yeah, I understand that one. While you're figuring that out very quickly, I'm going to drop the link into a couple of people who wanted to get in. So bear with me 1 second. I'm not sure if you can still hear me or.
Yeah, I can still hear you. I just wanted to plug
Perfect.
my headphones here. See if this solves the problem.
Yeah, I'm going to drop that link onto my Twitter as well quickly. Is it sorted your end?
All right. Well, I am getting a really bad echo, which I'm not sure why that is, but we'll just continue as we go.
Okay, let's go for it.
All
Let me
right.
get the camera back. Here we go. Super.
Perfect.
Technical glitches overcome, right?
Yeah, well,
You
we'll
sound fine
figure it
to me. I'm sure it's going to be fine. I'm sure it's going to be fine.
out. All right. So,
I'm ready when you are, Scott.
all right. So I'm still getting like a really bad delay. So I'm just going to go ahead and live and we'll figure it out as we go. But
Okay.
David, you would come up with this unique NFT project, and it is very interesting. I was looking into it, and there's a lot of different aspects to it. But before we get into it, tell us a little bit about yourself, your history in the crypto market, how you got into it, and why you wanted to start your own project.
Sure. Yeah. It goes back quite a long way, actually. I've been into crypto for quite some time. When I first started my crypto journey, I was really into Bitcoin. I used to trade Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin. Then I really wasn't into Ethereum. One of my friends, actually, the co-host at NFT Pill, Scott, he was the one who got me into Ethereum and then into NFTs. He launched a collection because he's a music producer, and he got in with this guy who was minting his music for him. I think they were called Tamagotchis or something like that. Anyway, long story short, that was quite some time ago. We'd always tried to do various different things, like because he was a music producer. We tried to set up a record label. We've done various different things together, and this was like the next thing along. So started to get into NFTs, and we thought, what can we do? Because we need to learn more about this and try and find some opportunities, etc., and see what we can do. So we set up an interview platform called NFT Pill. The idea behind it was to find people who could sort of that we could promote, and they could teach us and our community at the same time. And we hit the ground running, to be honest with you, and we had quite lots of success for maybe 6 months at least. But we came in quite late, so we came in sort of midway through the bull run, I think. It had started to teeter off, but ETH was like 2.5 grand back then, so we're looking at 1 grand at the moment. So you can see how much it's dropped. I mean, people say we're in a bear market, and I think it is the truth, really. Things are difficult right now, but so that's kind of my crypto background. I've traded many ERC tokens, the ERC20s, or they call meme coins. I've been part of a few different communities promoting, and also with NFT Pills, sort of doing interviews and stuff. So that's my crypto background. I have more interesting stories to tell you, but let's focus on the crypto side of things. So I sort of delved into the PFP NFT community, Twitter, NFT Twitter, and I got a great response from it. Met some really interesting people, and just got my juices going. You know, I loved it, to be honest with you. I loved buying an NFT, or you know, it started off you just buy one, don't you? But I moved to the point where I thought actually I found it's better to buy four. Hopefully you can flip one or two to get your money back, and then you're left with one or two to, you know, two to actually play with and hopefully make some profit from. And I saw people coming out of the woodwork releasing NFT collections, and I thought to myself, really, you know, I want to have a go at doing this properly, because we did have a go at doing it at the beginning, but we didn't really do it properly. We were minting using OpenSea's contract. We were just doing sort of one here and there. There was no real value to them. It was just a bit of fun, I think. But we wanted to do something that would potentially bring some value. So moving forward, lots has changed, and now we're at this point where I have an artist who's quite popular in the comic book world. So I know him personally, and I went to him and asked him if he would create me a bunch of layers, and then I could use those layers to create a collection.
Hey, David, are you still there?
Are you back?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Was that me?
I don't know. I don't know.
I saw.
When I was doing these interviews, yeah, it's the same thing with me. Technical glitches all over the way. So don't worry about it. I'm honestly, I know how it feels. Yeah, I'm just glad I'm not the one with the responsibility of trying to sort these glitches out today.
Well,
I'm not sure where people got up to. I suppose it was quite a long rant, but essentially, I love crypto and I love NFTs. I love being part of these communities. I'm part of a few communities, you know, and it's decided that the reality is there's so many people doing this. Really, I'd like to have a go at it myself. So that's where we're at. And I teamed up with, well, I say teamed up. He's provided the artwork. He's got quite a good reputation, so he's a little bit nervous to actually really delve into the NFT world, but he has created these layers for me, which I've been allowed to use to create these NFTs. So what I'd like to do is create something slightly different and have a collection that people can upgrade, and people can you know, do stuff too. So how it works is there's two contracts. There's one which is a hatchery, and there's one which is the actual NFTs themselves. So to start off with, there's a free mint, and you can go and mint for free or you have to pay gas fees, of course. Yeah, it's Ethereum, but you know, you mint the egg for free, and then you can hatch the egg. So we also have a token. So you need to, so if you were to come into our community and be part of this, and you wanted to hold on the SpaceX NFTs, you would need to mint an egg for free, just pay the gas fees. Then you'd need to buy some of the SEGS coin, and you can use that SEGS coin to then hatch your egg. And once you've hatched your egg, then at a later date, you're going to be able to upgrade them as well. So we thought the upgrading is going to come around about January or February. However, we're already in middle of January, and really we need more people in the community. You know, we need to lift off. Basically, it's moving quite slowly, but I feel it's the bear market right now. You know, it's a difficult time to bring new investors into a community. It's not easy right now, but we're still grinding. I remember interviewing someone previously, and they said the same thing. You know, it's like it's a bear market right now, but we're still here grinding, right?
yep.
Scott, you are the king of this. You know, it's like you've been through the
Yeah.
been through the bull run, and now you're here for the bear market as well.
Yeah, yeah, and it has been a rough ride, and I did get everything sorted. Evidently, I must have had StreamYard open twice, and that's where my echo was coming from. So now that I got all that sorted, you know, I
Okay.
was trying to pick up on everything you were saying, but it was like overlapping. But
No
yeah, I mean,
worries. If you want
you
to,
know,
if we can go back to the beginning, you can cut this, edit it, do whatever you like. I'm happy to. If you want to start again, if you want to crack on,
it's live,
it's
so
up to
we're
you,
gonna.
bro.
Yeah, it's live. We're gonna move forward.
Yeah,
But no, man, I've known you for a little bit. Tables have kind of turned. You know, we
yeah,
started out where I was actually on your social platform,
On the NFT Peel show. Yeah.
yeah, sharing everything about Heroes and what we were about. And, you know, it was a kind of an enlightening experience. The first time I was a little clueless, but, you know, I made my way around. And now here you are on live and in person. So,
Yeah.
you know, welcome. But I'm going to bring up your website here, and
Sure.
I'm going to share that with everybody. So this is spaceeggs.io. And
Yeah. Can I
I
just quickly there? I think most people probably picked up. Phone coming in. I need to.
I'm going to
So
have you
what I wanted
repeat
to
that
do
because you
is
can break up.
I wanted to do a play on words for SpaceX, as in Elon Musk. So Elon Musk, obviously massive on Twitter. Everybody's following him. He owns a company called SpaceX, right? So the
Yep.
idea behind these geese are there's 2,222 moon goose, right? And we've gone for the moon goose because obviously in crypto, you know, it's always a moonshot, right? We're going to the moon. We've got to go to the moon, and what that means in layman's terms is like the charts are going up big time, like a rocket, right? We're going to the moon, and you know, if you've bought down here and then it goes up and you sell up here, you've made loads of money, you're on the moon, right? So that's why these are moon geese, but they're fed up with the moon and they want to go to Mars. So that's what this whole thing is. They want to go from the moon to Mars. And so that's why I called it Space Eggs, because it's just a play on words for SpaceX, essentially.
Nice, nice. I like that. So, you know, with the whole idea of, you know, making the claim of going to the moon, you know, we all want that, right? But, you know, that's something that, you know, I think needs to be some transparency there, where, you know, this is what we're building, this is how we're building it, this is how everything plays together. And, you know, I
Mhm,
know this goes into a lot more because your ecosystem is built of multiple different facets. Um,
mhm.
and we're going to get into all that. But with, you know, the next step here, it shares where the money goes on your
Yeah,
website.
essentially, like the money. So with the NFTs, you mint the eggs for free, but then you hatch them, and you need to pay to hatch them. Currently, it's very cheap, but
Mhm.
each hatch will increase in price. And I'll tell you for why, because you don't hatch the eggs using Ethereum, you hatch the eggs using SEGS coin. So once you've minted your egg, then you would need to buy a small bag of SEGS coin. So every time someone makes a purchase, obviously the market cap increases and increases the value of each token. You then spend those tokens on hatching your egg. Those tokens get returned to the available supply, less the tax, which is 8%. We take the sell tax on the hatching of the eggs. So everything essentially except for the sell tax, and that's going to be used to develop the project. So essentially 92% of that then returns back to the market cap. The tokens are returned to the available supply. So it's not like, what it does is it increases, or what I'm calling it's a pump without the dump. Yeah, essentially the value of the tokens will increase over time. The cost of hatching the eggs will increase over time. So the people who get in early will be able to hatch their eggs very, very cheap. The people who come in late will have to pay more. And obviously, the idea is that as we get more and more people into it, there'll be more and more demand. So people will be willing to pay that little bit extra. But everything returns to the whole ecosystem. It's all in the market cap essentially.
Mhm.
I'm not minting these eggs out and walking off with loads of money into the sunset going, thank you very much. What I'm doing is I'm distributing it between all of the bag holders. And just to give a quick layman's terms, I'm sure you know what a bag holder is, but for the people who don't, a bag holder is essentially somebody who owns some of your tokens. So that would be the SEGS coin tokens. So our bag holders will sorry, our bag holders, the people who own SEGS coin. That's the ecosystem. That's a very small snippet of it.
Yeah.
And essentially, what I'm trying to do is create a token backed by an NFT collection. Actually, there's two NFT, well, three collections, two that are live right now. There's the eggs that you hatch, and the actual space eggs themselves, or the gastronauts, if you want to call it. That's what we've sort of
Hmm.
coined the phrase quite like that, gastronauts. So yeah, once you hatch those, there's also going to be another collection. So what we've done is we've created a pixel collection as well. Now that hasn't launched yet. But I've got a fantastic idea. I want to tell everyone about that as well. Again, it's all about giving money back to the community. I'm not here to take money off people and walk into the sunset. What I'm doing is, so for every 10 that get minted, we're going to give away a free NFT. And then for every 20 that get minted, we're going to give one of those NFT holders half an ETH, essentially. So it's like £500 or $600 at the moment, roughly. So that's the idea. And then the remainder of it is going to go back into the market cap. We'd like to make as much money as possible from it so that we can distribute it between our bag holders. Again, it's not in real life, it is in the metaverse.
Right.
However, it's an outside revenue stream that we can share the profits with essentially the bag holders.
Okay. So you jumped way ahead, but let's jump back to your
I'm terrible for doing that. Yeah, I apologize.
That's all right. That's all right. You're excited, and that's good, right? So looks like right now your floor is sitting at about $8, right? 0.006.
Yeah, those eggs. Unless the truth is that I would potentially ignore that floor price. You can still go and mint for free. There's only 230 odd or 250 that have been minted. We got that right at the beginning when we very first launched. We originally it was set to be 0.1 ETH each, and then we were giving away the first 222. The first 222 literally went in about, I don't know, well, very, very fast. And then the flow stopped. We got hit by it. There was no doubt about it. There was bots that had sniped all of those free NFTs, which left all the people in our Telegram group without these NFTs. So we had to frantically think about how we was going to adapt this. So yeah, we've made some serious changes, which have fixed a few of the problems we had at the initial launch. But it has slowed things down, and I completely understand that. You know, we had some glitches at the beginning, and that's potentially why we lost confidence in some of our investors. So we're still grinding away. We fixed the glitches, and we're here. You know, let's hope we can get the confidence back.
And that's what you have to do. I mean, you know, there was an error. You know, something went wrong, and at that point you could have threw up your hands and said, you know what, I'm just not doing it anymore, and walk away, right? But you didn't. It
was tempting, I'm not going to lie, but that isn't who I am. I generally
right.
do see things to the bitter end.
And that's good. That's what we all want to see in the, right, in a project is you know, the team, you know, following through on what they're doing. So after I mint this egg, all right, whether it's free or I pay for it, how much do I have to buy in the token to hatch it?
At the moment, I believe it's about $1.90. But it's really cheap right now. Yeah. So, but if you understand how it works, Scott, once you buy those tokens, it pushes the value up of the other tokens. So every time one's purchased, you know, the next one's probably going to be around about $2, and it will creep up, but it goes exponentially. So, you know, as it gets towards the 2,222 mark, they'll be really expensive. We might have to think about adjusting the price, but ultimately, this particular collection. The royalties on it are going to be set to 2.5% for the actual gastronauts. But the truth is I don't think so. The idea or the utility of these gastronauts, apart from being fun, is the fact that it will give you 50% off of the buy and sell tax of the token. So the idea is that if you're going to be a bag holder and part of the community, and you know, hopefully an investor that's you know, aiming to make money in the long run, then to hold one of these is fantastic, because let's just say hypothetically in 2 years time or a year's time your tokens have increased considerably. You know, you can save 50% of that sell tax when you come to sell those tokens just by holding one of these NFTs. And what I wanted to do was, you know, as you move forward and the token develops, we get more and more investors in, it creates demand, because, you know, at the end of the day, if you've made a bunch of money from your tokens and you're about to sell, it would be, you know, you'd be stupid not to save yourself 50%. And that's going to create demand. So there's only 2,222 of these NFTs that can save you 50%. There's never going to be any more. So as our as our community grows, you know, there won't be enough NFTs for everyone, and that will drive the price. That's going to create demand, and that's going to hopefully keep seeing that floor price go up and up and up. It's a long-term idea, and it doesn't only depend on me fulfilling, you know, my part, doing the AMAs, you know, being active, you know, trying to do everything I can, but it also relies on other people being part of the community as well. It's, you know, it's a two-way street here. I'm hoping that I can do my part, and the community can do their part, and together this is gonna eventually we'll get to Mars, right?
Right. So a little bit more in-depth question here.
Yeah.
So I buy the NFT, all right, or I you know, just mint the NFT. I buy the tokens to hatch it. All right. Those tokens that I bought to hatch it, they go back into the liquidity of the token, right?
That's exactly right.
So
yeah.
is it just going in on the pair, you know, the
just
value,
to give clarification, to make it really transparent, they're not going directly back instantly to the liquidity pool. They're going back to the contract, the wallet of the contract, where they will sit until they accumulate, and then when we do our next liquidity run from the tax that's come from the buy and sell, etc., that's when we split it in half. So basically whatever the tokens are worth, we match it with ETH and put it into liquidity. So that's how that works.
Okay. So yeah, essentially you're just going to dump it back into the liquidity.
Exactly. Yeah.
How long do you have your liquidity locked for?
Right now it's not locked. There's like it's a catch-22 essentially. The tokens will be locked. I want to see a little bit of growth going first. I'm putting my name and face to this. I'm not going to rug pull this under any circumstances. In fact, interestingly, there's people out there right now that are having lawsuits thrown at them because they've been rug pulling. You know, some people have been doing, like, there was a $2.9 million rug pull. That guy's got some heat on his neck at the moment. I'm just here for a long-term project to try and drive value and put most of the profits back into it, and some of the profits that we get will go to paying the people that have helped make this project work. So I think, yeah, that's the best I can answer that, really. The locked, it basically, we've been probed on this already. It's like, hey, I'm not buying into it until you lock your tokens. So they're going to be locked. I just can't say if it's going to be today or next week. That's yeah, but they are going to be locked. And when I do lock them, they're probably going to be locked for 3 months.
Right. Yeah, and that makes sense. I mean, if you want to gain access to the liquidity to continue, well, I mean, you could continually add even if they're locked, but then over time you'll have multiple liquidity locks of different percentages, and it gets a little messy in whether you're using Unicrypt or, you know, whatever platform to lock them. So Legend of
Unicrypt had some problems as well, didn't they? That's another subject, but let's not talk about that.
Tell us about these Legend of Gasa NFTs. It looks like there's 9 of them.
It's a bit of fun, really. Yeah, there's 9 of them in total. So you got Commander Fernandez. She's the leader of the pack. I'll read these out. If you click it, you get a little pop-up window. You got it there, haven't you? Yeah, she's the leader of the gaggle, a stern warrior, ruthlessly efficient. She never leaves the toilet seat up. She's born to colonize Mars and lead the 222 generation Mars mission geese. So just to clarify that, there's only 222 Mars mission geese, and you know that there are Mars mission geese because A, one of their traits is Mars mission, and B is because they have a spacesuit on with a space helmet. So this was actually something else that I wouldn't mind talking about quickly, is that these NFTs are quite tricky to make. So anyone that's ever dabbled in making an NFT collection, you create a bunch of layers and then you can use multiple various different pieces of software to put them together. But what I found is there wasn't a single piece of software that would do variations on traits. Somebody out there can probably correct me, I'm sure there is, but I couldn't find one. So I had to come up with a script myself. So I just wrote a simple little script that said, if they're a Mars mission, then they can't have anything on their head because, you know, obviously they've got this helmet. You can see the helmet around them. So that means they can't have one of these mohawks or a big hat or anything because it would mess the traits up. So I had to make these variable traits based on other traits, you know, only show this trait if it has one of these traits, etc. It's quite complicated and took me a little while to do that. Whether it was worth it or not, I honestly can't tell you, but I'm pleased with what the output was. So 222 of them were wearing spacesuits. You can see this spacesuit is gold and it has a gold little emblem on the left hand side there, and that is the commander spacesuit. And they are essentially the you know, the top notch ones. If you're lucky enough to mint one of them, then you know, you should be all right, hopefully.
Nice. And is he holding
So the legend, yeah, go on. And so, oh, and this one's got a, it's not a, it's a generic sword made from light. Yeah, just so we don't get any copyright infringements or anything like that.
I gotcha.
Yes, so it's a very powerful sword, and it's from the good side as well, not the other side that's not so good.
I gotcha.
I can probably talk about it. I could probably say all of the things without any problems, but let's be careful about what we say here. I think you can all see what it is.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So listen, we can talk a little bit more about them, Scott, if you don't mind, because I actually quite like them.
Absolutely.
They're a bit of fun that we had. And initially, the initial idea behind them was, let's make 9 NFTs that we're going to create like a 1 or 2% tax on the token, and the people that 1 or 2% tax will get split evenly between the people who hold these 9 NFTs. Then the next idea was, hey, look, whoever mints these NFTs will get 1 ETH each. We've had a bunch of ideas, and ultimately, where we are right now is that they've come back to just being the, you know, if you've got one of these, you're going to be able to sell them for way more than any of the others, and we've left it at that for now. But that could change. You might get a surprise if you mint one of these, but we're not guaranteeing anything.
So you're saying?
So let me go through the. Yeah.
If you mint one of these, you're getting 1 to 2% of all the taxes of the token.
No, not all the, no. So there was a, well, actually, yeah, that was the original plan, and that was going to run for 1 month. We've actually removed it, but we will bring that back if you guys put it in the comments now. Do you want us to add this back in? Because right now we've removed it. So these are just like rare, like ultra rare NFTs at the moment. But you know, I had this idea of why not share some of the profits between the people who mint Gassa, the Legends of Gassa. So at the moment, that is not how it stands. But if you want us to put this back in, put it in the comments. The more people we see who want it, then obviously we just want to do what the community wants. So you're the community. Tell us what you want. Should we make this so that this splits 1 or 2% between the 9 people who hold them, or should we just leave it that these are ultra rare ones, and you know, you're going to make your money through flipping them? However, tell us what you want in the comments.
Absolutely.
So before we move on, sorry, I'm terrible for talking a lot. Probably drank too much coffee today as well. So we had some fun with the names. So I don't know if you can go back to the next one. The next one is Goose Willis. So
yeah, it's not letting me. Yeah. Where do I go to see these? I know.
So if you go to home, hit home, and then you should be able to scroll down, and there's a Legends of Gassa section.
Here we go.
There we go. So there you can click them, and then you see the funny little bit of text come up. Yeah.
Nice.
So we've got. So I've told you about Commander Fernandez. She's the leader of the pack. Then you've got Goose Willis. Goose Willis is a natural leader, and when he bends his neck round and quacks, other geese listen. Calm under pressure, was shot down over Canada once, and legend has it he evaded capture and flew non-stop to Mexico on just 1 wing. That's how hard Goose Willis is.
I like that. Glasses, cigar, and a beard.
Yeah. And of course he has a sword of light, and his is a red one, so he's of the other side, if you get me. Yeah,
I understand. I gotcha.
Yeah. We've got Winston Churchill next. I think maybe it's too long if I read all of these out, but I mean, you can go to the website, guys. You know, go and check this out, because there's 9 there. They've all got something funny written about them. In fact, I like. Wacky. I'll tell you my next favorite one is the Goose Bond. Obviously, you know which famous character this is supposed to be. You know, a joke about. The name's Bond, Goose Bond. Little is known about her. She's mostly invisible. It's said that if you do see her, her laser beam eyes are probably the last thing you'll ever see. So she's got laser beam eyes and an invisible body. There's a massive collection called Invisible Friends.
Yep.
Obviously, we wanted to bring something in, so I actually made one of the layers be invisible or non-existent. So they're the invisible geese. They've just got eyes and a beak, maybe a hat, maybe a t-shirt or something, but their body itself is invisible. And they're ultra rare ones as well. This particular one is like super ultra rare because it's got the laser beam eyes as well.
Nice. Nice. I love
So
it.
these are quite fun. I want people to have fun. Like I want people to have something that's going to generate them some money, of course, because that's you know who's in crypto for anything other than that. Okay, yeah, it is fun and it's a good community as well. But ultimately, we all want to have one of these, and hopefully the price is going to go up. So, yeah, aside from that, it's supposed to be fun, guys, which is why I've tried to make it as fun as possible.
Yeah, and it is. It's light, it's humorous, and it's a little edgy. Horny
Yeah,
geese.
yeah.
tell.
Horny geese.
Let's
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about
of
horny
course.
geese a little bit.
So, well, the idea is that we have actually I didn't mention this at the beginning. So there is one more contract as well, and this contract is called Goose Juice. Okay, so this will be an integral part of the project. I was part of a community and part of a cryptocurrency, and I was working as a promoter for them. One of the influencers, he's huge on Twitter, he's Marmite. You either love him or hate him. Lots of people love him, and he's huge. I'm not going to mention his name. I don't want to promote too much of that. But anyway, cut a long story short, he wanted to launch a energy drink for this cryptocurrency. The dev knocked him back. It caused huge problems. The whole community fell apart in the end over this stupid thing. But I actually thought it was a good idea because it goes in line with bringing outside revenue into the coin, the pump without the dump, right? So I thought, okay, well, what can we do to incorporate that? So I feel like energy drinks, they're very popular. People want them. So in the future, part of our non-existent roadmap it does exist, of course, but in my head. And the only reason of that is because I don't want to let people down on timings, because there's no way I can say we're going to be able to launch an energy drink this year because it costs so much to do that. But I really, really am focused on getting to that point. So it's going to be called Goose Juice, essentially, unless someone's stolen the name by the time we get to it, and we'll think of a new name. But so the idea of it, aside from the in real life business, which will be called Goose Juice, we have an NFT collection called Goose Juice. Should have been in ERC. It should have been in the ERC 1177. Is that the game one? I can't remember what it is now, but we made it as a 721, just a normal NFT. It's just one NFT, just one picture, and there's an unlimited supply. So once you've hatched your once you've hatched your gastronaut, then you can breed them. So the idea is this is an unlimited. Again, I haven't explained this in full very well, so here I go and try now. There's an unlimited generation of these NFTs. Once you hatch two, the next stage for us will be the breeding. So you'll be able to breed a male and a female, because there's male and females of these. So when you breed them, you'll need the goose juice because they're in space, right? And I don't know if anybody knows much about space. I'm sure you do. Many of you probably know a lot more than me, but basically space does terrible things to biological life forms. We're not designed to be in space. So this little goose juice shot is going to help the geese to do what they need to do so that they can produce the next generation. Now, each generation, I'm sure you get what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say it in a family orientated way, right?
I'm hearing
think of it as Viagra in a tube. Yeah. Right. It's a bit of a joke, it's not, take it lightheartedly, essentially. But it was just something funny. We needed some way to generate some revenue to go into the pump that can't be dumped, and this was one of the ways we came up with. And I think it's a fantastic idea because of the energy drink that we are planning to launch. And Yeah, so the whole thing goes together. So again, just like when you hatch the eggs, you buy the goose juice in segs coin. Those segs coin are then returned to the available supply. The market cap is increased, and that tiny bit of increase can never be decreased because these tokens can't be dumped. They're just returned back to the supply. Same thing as the hatching, essentially. Same thing as the in real life businesses, and what we aim to do with Goose Juice, the energy drink. Does it make sense?
It does. It does. So, yeah. So you hatch an egg, you buy the token to hatch it. Once you have a male and female, you will be able to get Goose Juice to have them multiply and create a new NFT.
That's
Correct?
correct. And the new one will be another egg, and then that egg you hatch, and that hatches into a generation 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever generation we're up to. And the idea behind this is I want to give credit to somebody that I worked with. His name's Brian. Basically, we came up with, while we were working for this other cryptocurrency, we came up with this idea of essentially having an unlimited generation NFT collection, and each different generation we find a new artist, and as we increase in popularity, we get better and better artists. Who knows, maybe one day we would be so big that we'd get Banksy, or of course that's pie in the sky, but you understand what the mindset and the goal is, right? So I feel very lucky to have the artist that I've got. I hope that you guys like the artwork. The guy who's done this is called the Grant Perkins. Just Google him. He's quite big in the Comic-Con world. He's worked for, or he's done comics for Penguins of Madagascar, Doctor Who, Strax, WWE. Like there's loads of stuff. He's done some quite big stuff. He's a really cool guy. I can't say enough good stuff about him. He genuinely is. If you don't know who he is, go and check him out. And I've been really lucky to get him to do this first collection for me, because I personally love the artwork. I think it's fantastic. So the next one, Grant won't be doing the next artwork. Grant has literally come on board just to provide the layers for this first collection. The next one will be done by another artist, and when we move closer to that point, then we'll probably put out a competition or something along those lines to find the next artist to do the generation 2, and we'll repeat that on over and over and over. That's ideally, if we could do a generation a year or a generation every 6 months, I'd be over the moon. But it doesn't matter how long it takes. If it takes me 2 years to get to that point, to generation 2, I'm still going to be here grinding. Trust me.
Well, that's good to know. Yeah, and here I did bring up Grant. If you have not looked him up, or you're not sure who he is, definitely check him out. He's on all types of socials, and he does do pretty awesome work. So absolutely awesome. Let's see. Who is Mowgli?
So Mowgli's he's somebody who's helped me. He's far more long in the tooth of a Solidity developer than I am. I've been programming various things on the PHP. I'm fluent in JavaScript, PHP, many programming languages I'm not fluent in, but I can work myself around them, because apart from the syntax, most programming languages are quite similar. Essentially, I needed to find somebody, because you can't put something out there that's not secure, and I didn't have the confidence to make sure it was secure myself, and I thought it was silly to try and navigate that myself and learn it. It would take too long, etc. So I teamed up with Mowgli, and he's basically audited the contracts for me. So we've written some of it together, and I've written a lot of it myself. Mowgli has taken control of making sure that it's secure. I fully trust him. He knows what he's talking about. So he works a lot in blockchain, but doesn't seem to do very much in the Web3 community. He's doing more stuff for private companies. So if you have a company and you are interested in introducing blockchain technology to your data management or anything to do with your company, I highly recommend Mowgli. Fantastic to work with, and we've actually become friends. So yeah, he's a really, really nice guy. If you've got Web3 needs, specifically for companies, private companies, then I would recommend him greatly. The other one there is Devler. So that's my AKA. I'm
Yep.
obviously David Coleman, also known as NFT Pill,
Yep.
but my developer name is Devler. I had it for years, to be honest with you. I'm not famous for it at all. I've done many things, but never really advertised. It's the first time I've ever actually sort of put on anything Devler. So, but yeah, so that's me.
Not famous
Actually,
yet.
just so people know, I am fully doxed, and so is everyone in this team. There's nobody on my team who isn't doxed. Like everybody who's done anything for me, I've literally requested. Like I actually made Mowgli send me a copy of his government ID. Like I won't work with anybody that I cannot have some legal way of saying this is who that person is. So it looks from my photo like I'm trying to hide who I am. I'm not. And if you click any of those links, there's the evidence. I've actually put some of my personal socials on there. So for example, if you click my Facebook link, it goes to my personal Facebook. Okay, looks like you need to be logged in. My apologies, but maybe I need to change that. But yeah, so it actually goes to my personal Facebook, right? I'm fully doxed. I have nothing to hide. And I it was important to me, but I wanted to put the Devler image there. I like it, and I'd like to. I think the Web3 world is absolutely booming. So Mowgli and I set up a company we've called it Alien Meta. And the idea behind it is that anybody who wants anything Web3 orientated can come to Alien Meta and we'll build it for them. Whether it's fledgling, we haven't done anything with it yet except for develop this, because the idea is really we need to prove to the world that we can do it. So that's what we're doing here. Going forward into the future, we sort of like to develop this Web3 company as well called Alien Meta.
Nice.
So there.
So
I
Web3
divulge
development.
as usual.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So is with him doing helping you with the contract and writing all the code, did you also get an audit done on your contract?
There's no official audit. So we have it in the plans, really. Like audits are expensive, right?
Yep.
So it's a case of what came first, the chicken or the egg. Essentially, we've written it in a way that it's as safe as possible, because we've reused a lot of code that's already been audited, and we've adapted some of it to suit our needs. Does that make sense? I'm not saying we don't need to be audited. We will. I forget the name of the main one now. You can remind me, Scott. Actually, I can't think of the main company that everybody
Certic.
looks for the.
Certic.
Yeah, Certic. That's it. Certic.
Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah. Well, I think they're charging like $5,000 for an audit. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know it's expensive.
I think it's a little bit more than that. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? I've seen cryptocurrencies. I've seen these ERC20 tokens fly up to like 15 million market caps without an audit. It does happen. It is possible. I don't think that every single new coin needs to be audited, straight away, because realistically, like you need to make some money from it first at the end of the day. It's a very volatile industry. So, as we move forward, we will certainly be audited. Yeah. 100%, but it hasn't happened at this moment in time.
All right. Yeah. So, there's a lot when you're running your own project. There's a lot to take into account. Not only is there development costs, but there's adding the initial liquidity so that you can launch. There's, creating and, having a website. I'm sure that. Yeah.
So just going back to what I was saying, we've used. I don't know if anybody knows about Open Zeppelin, but essentially what they've done is they've created a library of reusable modules, essentially. So it really reduces the amount of work that a developer has to do. So yeah, and Open Zeppelin, they have done their own internal audits, and they're always updating things. So it's a very useful tool to use, to be honest with you. That's all right.
So yeah, and there's going back to all that. When you're launching a project, I know personal experience, a lot of personal funds went in and have continued to go in to
Hmm.
creating what we've built with Heroes. And it's not an inexpensive thing. I mean, I've seen projects start where they start out with like $200 of initial liquidity and they
Mm.
take off. And it's like, they don't really put too much skin in the game there, right? There's
Yeah,
not much security that they believe enough in their project to put
more
more,
in. Yeah.
right? I did take a look, and you did start with quite a bit more than that, and with all the other stuff that you have to put together to launch a successful project. I
Mm.
would suggest an audit would be definitely something that you should look at.
Hmm.
I love the idea of everything and how it all works together.
Hmm.
I thought there was something where you are going to utilize some of the funds to bring in real world money
That's exactly
back
it.
into the
Yeah.
project.
Yeah.
So, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So part of the tax that we accrue through the buy and the sell tax, and also a small portion of the money that comes from minting the goose juice, and also hatching the eggs, and eventually from upgrading as well. A portion of that money is going to go into investing in our community members' businesses. Now, I've been part of a few communities, and when I started to talk to a few different people, they thought that was a fantastic idea, And the idea behind it is that we would take a portion of the money that we generate, invest it into a business, and the returns that we get from that business will go into, again, what I'm calling the pump without the dump. So these tokens will be bought just exactly the same as I've mentioned before, but they will be returned to the available supply. Um, it's a way to make, like, as people buy and sell, you get an up and down movement, right?
Yep.
But because of the money that's coming in from the pumps that can't be dumped, the bags that are being
Yep.
returned to the available supply, you it should create this upwards
Right.
motion over time, with the ups and downs along the way where people are
Mhm.
buying and selling. Um, and that's the idea behind it. And ultimately, we'd like to spread our network out as far and as wide as possible, and have as many different types of businesses as possible to mitigate any risk. Not all of them are going to succeed. Some of them are going to fail. Others will succeed. And hopefully, what we can do is generate an outside revenue stream to put into the token that can never be sold, can never be dumped. So it's basically a way of sharing that profit between every single one of our token holders. That's the
Mhm.
idea behind it. And some of the people of the community really like the idea. We'd also like to set up our own businesses, and it's all going to be focused around the community. So it's really community driven. We've got no interest in investing in companies that are outside of our community. So if you're a business owner, and you like the idea of what we're talking about, then come and join us. And when the community votes, put your company forward, and they may vote for your company, and we'll invest in your company. And then the returns we get shared out equally between everyone. Everybody's laughing, everybody makes money. There's no losers. That's the idea of what I'm
Mhm.
trying to do, because I've seen so many losers in this industry, and I've been one myself.
Yep.
You put your money into something, and it's hard-earned money that could be spent on your kids or something else, and you're only doing it because you're hoping to make money, and it doesn't work, because most tokens are based on people putting money in, and when they put money in, they can sell it at any point. So I just racked my brains of how can we do something that doesn't rely on people holding. It's this hodl. Everybody in the crypto industry knows hodl, hold your bags, diamond hands, all of that. But the reality is I've been a diamond hands, and I've never profited from being a diamond hands. So people figure that out. Get in, take your profits when they're there. Don't be greedy. But the problem with that is the token very difficult to really, well, because it's pump and dump constantly, pump dump, pump dump, pump dump,
Yep.
pump dump, pump dump. So I just, yeah, I don't see anybody else, or I haven't seen any tokens that really wet my whistle, and I thought, you know, that's a fantastic idea. So I just went ahead and did it myself, essentially. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. And, going back to that, I think, one thing that you should be looking for is every project that is in the space, you should be looking at them as, and they should be looking at it as they're in it to make some money, right?
Hmm.
Um, I know that it would be fantastic for myself to take a paycheck, but we're not there yet. But when we do
Hmm.
get there, I plan on doing it. I
You
mean,
will.
we put in
I,
over a year worth of work and have not taken a dime and just have continued to contribute. And
mm,
so you want to be able to turn this into a living. It should be an entity. And I think everything that you're building with your ecosystem is awesome. I love the idea that you mint the egg initially. It's a low fee, if any fee at all. And then after
mhm,
you minted it, you buy the tokens to hatch it. Those tokens actually go back into liquidity. So hopefully you buy more than the $2 that you need,
sure.
that will help grow your bag and increase in profits.
Hmm.
And then after so many mints, and after that chart goes up so much, and you get to that point where you're like, yeah, we're I'm at 3x or 5x or whatever,
Hmm.
you can take some profits out. And again, responsibility is key there. If you're in super early like now and
Yeah.
you have a massive bag, you don't want to dump it on the entire community when the market cap goes up, right? You want to
Well, I've put a little safeguard in there at the beginning, like no one can buy any more than $25 worth. And, you know, and the reason is because we've got a low liquidity and a low market cap. So the price changes, the price is very volatile.
Mhm.
So we've limited what you can do. But going forward, as the market cap and the liquidity pool increases in size, we will increase the maximum buy. I'll be honest with you, it's probably put a lot of people off. I know a lot of people who want to dump $1,000 into it and stuff. And I've
Yeah.
said, look, you can't, you know, and so it's probably put them off. But we got to get through this early stage because
Mhm.
it just has to be done. There's no easy way to do it. No, listen, Scott, you know this yourself. Like if it's easy, anything worth doing is not easy at the end of the
Right.
day. You have to put a lot of hard work in. And I am at this rubbish stage right now where you can only buy $25 worth of my token at a time. And there's also a limit. So you can only have 0.002% of the total supply in any one wallet.
Mhm.
And again, sorry, because I'm using my phone, I had a call come in, so I don't know if that
It's all
affected the
good.
conversation. I really apologize about that.
No worries.
Um, so where were we? Talking
Yeah.
about
So
small, you can only buy like $25 worth at the moment. Yeah, it's like, you know, it's not the cryptocurrency for everyone. You want to put $1,000 in today and in 10 days time walk off with a 100,000. Like it's not,
mhm.
we're not that. You know, we're a slow burn, long-term project, and I really hope, Scott, that we're going to be having more conversations in 2 years. You know, like, and
Oh,
I'm going to be
absolutely.
saying to you, look, this is where we're at now. You know, go and buy a can of Goose juice. Like that's where I hope we could potentially be.
Yeah, yeah. My concern with the $25 is gas. Gas on Ethereum network is never cheap. Even when it is cheap, it's still, substantially higher than what it is on other networks. So,
Hmm.
do you think you're kind of turning people away with that $25 buy
Yeah,
versus?
it is frustrating, and obviously I can raise it. It just makes the price of the token slightly more volatile.
Mhm.
But gas fees, like we've done some of the trial buys, and the gas fees are around about between $3 and $5. So I didn't feel too like that was too bad, to be honest with you. I'm surprised. I'm used to paying a lot more than that, you know.
Right.
So when I saw it was such a small amount, I was like, oh well, this is okay. Who knows what that would be in the future? Because I think we're at, like gas is pretty good right now. The
Mhm.
Ethereum isn't as popular as what it was before. There's nowhere near as many transactions happening simultaneously at this moment in time.
Right.
So that's why gas is actually pretty good right now. I remember, you know, gas was ridiculous at one point
Oh
where,
yeah.
you know, so ridiculous that it just turned me off Ethereum altogether. But at the moment, gas is low. You know, if it stays like that, then yeah, I understand if you spend $25 and you're then paying basically 1/5 of that in gas, it does feel a little bit like that $5 is wasted. But
Mhm.
I think it's small amounts. but hey, I'm open to suggestion, and if the community want me to increase that so you can buy $100, whatever, we're willing to do it. But it
Yeah.
does come with a cost. You know, it does affect, the price is more volatile, allowing people to buy. And also, don't forget, at this time when the market cap is so low, potentially, you know, if I took the limit off completely, someone could come along and buy the entire supply. That's
Hmm.
where we're at. And you know, because the price is, because it's so early on in the game. So
Hmm.
that's why I'm restricting it, you know. If you want to buy $25 worth, fantastic. We want that. And then, you know, maybe next month we can do $100 per buy. Maybe in 3 or 4 months we can do $500 a buy.
Hmm.
But they're just stages that we have to go through at the moment.
Well, and
That's the
I,
best I can address that.
the weird thing here is, as you know, kind of off as that, would put me as far as the $25, it also shows that you're not in it to, make a quick buck and then walk away, right?
Yeah.
You have, goals. You want to make sure that you're protecting your investors, and,
Hmm.
having that $25 buy is, you know, is yeah, it helps increase that chart, on an easy pace with,
Yeah. And
less
I fully
draw.
understand I fully understand it does make things difficult. You know, it's going to take a like, could potentially, you know, you find the right person who's just stumbled across your token and thinks, hey, I want to invest in that, and they could put 10 grand into it, and you know, all of a sudden your market cap's doubled. Everybody's done a 2x, but the reality is it doesn't help anyone in
Hmm.
the long run. Because when you see, you know, it's like a 2x, oh, I might dump some of those tokens, and like, just this, having this $25 limit at this moment in time is the right thing to do. I genuinely believe that. However, you know, it's a community token. I'm not really the boss of this. It's just, you know, like, there has to be somebody in charge of something. You know, when the project, there has to be somebody in charge. So, you know, I feel that role at the moment, but really it's a community token and the community project. So, you know, if somebody was in the community to say, hey, look, I think we need to raise that, then we can take a vote on it and see what everybody else thinks. But the community is very small right now anyway, which is why, you know, you're the first AMA that I've done, Scott. And I have to say, you know, I really want to thank you for this, because I was really nervous about doing them. I'm normally, you know, I spent quite a long time sitting in your
Hmm.
position,
Yeah.
asking the questions, etc. And I never realized how nerve-wracking it is to be sat this side. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you know, I want to thank you for giving me this platform so that people can get a feeling for who I am and what I'm
Yeah.
trying to do. So,
And it gets easier over time. And I think what
yeah.
you're doing is you're building a nice project. I like everything, how it all works together. Um, the stealth launch was great for the token. You didn't
Hmm.
see this massive buy and then a dump. The chart is on the uptrend right now, which is, kind of falling in line to what you're saying with, your reasoning for the $25 buys. So
Hmm.
that all looks very promising. I think you have some work to do, as all projects do. It never ends. You
Mm.
consistently have to continue to build and, develop. And I think you have some stuff ahead of you, but I like everything that you've got so far. I like the fact that your team is doxed. I think, like we talked about earlier, an audit would, make people feel a
Make a
little
big
more
difference. Yeah.
secure, as well as, a
Locking the liquidity.
liquidity lock.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think those would give people a little bit more reassurance, even though that you're putting yourself out there. You know,
Hmm.
I mean, if someone's buying and they're from mid US, are they really gonna, track you down and, halfway around the world to come find you over 25
Yeah.
bucks, right?
Yeah.
So, I think there's a little concern there that, might throw up, people's red flags. But the market isn't, what it was a year ago, right? It's a totally
Yeah.
different space. And
It's yeah. It's
it
like
is.
it's gone. Yeah. It's done a U-turn, hasn't it? Really. It's
Yeah.
there's so many. I mean, even like Donald Trump, you know, even he's come along and done this NFT collection, and I hold my hands up. I'm guilty. I bought one. I sold
Right.
it. I flipped it. I lost a bit of money on it. I'm not going to lie. I lost a couple $100 on that, but
Oh,
I
geez.
sat there and watched it go through the roof. You know, like up to point 0.8.
Yeah.
And I just, yeah, I didn't buy at point 0.8. I bought a point 0.6, and then watched it all the way up to point 0.83 or whatever, and then it crashed after that, and I ended
Mhm.
up selling for around about point 0.3 or 4. But you know, these are the things. What I'm saying is, even though it's a bear market, you've got like these collections that they just come and go boom. But what they do, what I've seen is, like, I've been watching. I watch OpenSea all the time.
Mhm.
I love their trending. You know, it's that trending section, isn't it? I'm like,
Yep.
what's new today? Who launched yesterday or today? And it's like they're trending already. That's yeah. What I was trying to say is they're all here today, gone tomorrow. And
Right.
it's not what I want to do. I'm not a get rich quick man. Oh, don't get me wrong. I'd love to have more money because I've got a 3 year
We
old
all want
son.
to have more
Yeah,
money.
everybody wants more money, of course. I've got a 3 year old son. You know, I want to be able to put him through university and give him the life that he deserves. And so, but on the flip side, you know, I believe that things should be done in a certain way.
Yeah.
Scott, I have utmost respect for you because, you know, we've been sort of friends in this arena for quite some time, and if I'm honest, you know, I think you're a very genuine person, and you know, I've seen heroes go through some ups and downs, and you're still here, and you're
Yeah.
still putting your face, you know, out there, and you know, saying, look, I'm not just going to walk away from this. I'm going to make it work, and you do something different and upgrade it, and I, I, you, I could almost say, saying it lightly, you know, I kind of have a great deal of respect for you, and model. I want to model myself a little bit on the way you've done things. I'm not going to lie. Yeah.
I appreciate that. And, I don't think any of us have all the answers to everything, but, one thing that you do have to do is you have to learn to adapt and,
Yeah.
move forward and continue to, overcome any obstacles that you are faced with. And we have been
Hmm.
faced with a boatload of obstacles.
Yeah.
The thing is, we just, put our head down and push forward. And
Hmm.
that's what you have to do. I think that shows a little bit of, well, it shows the
Tenacity.
character behind the team, right? It
Yeah.
shows, the type of person you are.
Mm.
A lot of projects have docs devs, they have their liquidity lock, they have audits on their contracts, and they're gone after 3 months, right?
Mm.
We are well over a year. I hope to see SpaceX be over a year. I think
Yeah.
with what you're building though is very well thought out. It's not like what you're seeing a lot in this space where it's we're launching an NFT project. Does it have utility? Are the utilities coming? You have kind of started out with an ecosystem already, and the utility is coming, but it is, really designed to benefit your community. And that
Yeah.
is more well thought out than most of the projects that are launching at the moment. And
Mm.
I really appreciate that. And, and I know you for a while now. And, that's why I wanted to have you on. I wanted to return the favor and, share what you're building because I do
Hmm.
find value in it. I think it's a great project. Um,
Thank you.
I, I,
As we move forward, and I do hope things, you know, progress, and the speed increases, the speed of the progression increases, and then what I'd like to do is, because at this early stage, you know, potentially we could harm other projects if we fail, and we partnered up. Say, if I said to you right now, you know, let's do something together with Heroes Token.
right.
If SpaceX fails, I don't want to damage any other projects. So at the moment, I just want to focus on being alone, trying to grow to this point where I then have confidence, and at that point, I will come to you and say, let's do something together with
Yep.
SpaceX and Heroes if you're interested.
Yeah.
But now's not the right time. I've got more development to do first.
Mhm.
We've got to grow the community. That's the most
Yes.
important thing because it's just all about community, isn't it? You know?
It is. Yeah. And, you do need a good community. And here, let me bring up. So you are on Telegram. Um, all you have to do is go to the
Yeah.
website, click on the link, join SpaceX Telegram group, contribute. Just pop in, say hi, say hey. I saw you on YouTube, and I wanted to come check it out and talk to David. Talk to the mods and the team there, and find out what's going on. Um,
Hmm.
I think that's the other thing is as long as you're making yourself present, as long as you continue to develop, I think things are going to go in the way that you want it to go. I like the limit on the buys. I personally would like to see it a little higher, but that's because I usually dip in with a little bit more than $25, especially on an Ethereum project. And that's just because of the gas fees, and that's personal preference, right? What about the token tax? You said
okay, so there's a 4% on buy and an 8% on sell, but I've designed the contract so we can adjust that because, the idea was that potentially we might have some happy hours every now and again where there's no tax, or we might want to increase the tax or even potentially decrease the tax. So it's a variable tax at this moment, but what the promise is that we'll never adjust the tax without, at least a 48-hour warning within the community. So essentially, it's going to be 4% and 8%, except for some certain occasions when we may increase or decrease it. But it's 4 and 8%, and then we're going to split that between multiple different things. So you're going to have this is going to be marketing. We need to pay people to market, obviously, but I feel like I want to be careful with that because there's so many places you can just literally throw your money away. I'm bombarded with messages every day on Telegram. It's like we spoke about this privately, but on the feed, it's like people offering me Dex tool trending for like $100 and stuff like that. And I know you're laughing at it because obviously being in the industry, you know how ridiculous that is. But yeah, that's the kind of messages we get. So be very careful about the marketing money that I spend. But it's an essential point. Then we've got like the core team. I need to grow this team. Like at the moment, there's just 3 people in it, and really there's only actually 2 because one of them's the artist, and he's not really part of the team. He's like a third party part of the project. Really, he's the artist of the first collection, so it's only fair that we give him some platform to say this is him. So there'll be a small tax that goes to paying the core team. There's going to be a small tax that goes towards, actually it's the 4 and the 8% is going to get divided equally between all of these. So then we want to do some charitable things as well, because one of the things I love most about Heroes token is it's the charitable token, right? You're giving money to people who need it, and I want to do a little bit of that myself as well. So as we go along, we're hoping to accrue some money, and I wanted to put it into like families. A lot of people are struggling with the cost of living right now, so that's what I want to do. I want to try and develop this to a point where it can make quite a good amount of money, and then a portion of the money that it makes is going to go to people that are really struggling at the moment, because let's be honest, some people are doing okay, but most people are really struggling. So I'd like to be able to do something to help them, and that's what a portion of the tax will go on. We also need to spend some money on the actual ecosystem itself. So a small portion of it will be dedicated to sweeping the floor. Now, there's a lot of legalities around this. So I've looked into it. Being based in England, we're somewhat excluded from the SEC. So like we have our own rules and regulations around it, but from my investigation, it appears that we can actually buy some of the floor price NFTs and reserve them for things like giveaways and stuff like that. So of course, that's going to help the floor price of the collection increase. So charity, NFT ecosystem, like marketing, and I do want to take a little bit of profit as well, but it's going to be tiny, and it certainly won't be until the coin has really developed into something. So there'll be a small dev tax as well. But like you were saying earlier, I wanted to. You said that you've not taken a penny out of Heroes token, and what I wanted to say to you is I think you deserve to, and I think you should. As a community, I am part of the Heroes community, and if you were to take some profit, I would not have a problem with that, for the simple fact that I have seen you working really, really hard, and you put a lot of your own money into it. So I don't think there's anything wrong with the developer working as hard as you are to take a small Essentially, it wouldn't even be profit. It'd be just getting some of your money back that you've invested into it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and I don't think most people. In fact, if anybody did have a problem with that, you've got to ask them why, because it's like, what, do you want me to work for free?
Right.
You've created something that other people are benefiting from. So why should you not take a little bit? That's how I feel about it.
So there will be a time, and there will be a time the dev team for Heroes will get a paycheck. That time is not now, and it's not now because of where everything is sitting with the market, where our chart is sitting, where our community is sitting. We need to continue to build and develop, and I want to bring it back. I want to have everything in place for the next run, and whenever that may be. It may be 3 months, it may be a year, it may be 5 years, but when it comes, that's when I want to have the project at a good place, that it just excels and goes beyond where we were at our all-time high. That's my goal. And at that point in time, I think I would take some pay for
Money,
the
yeah.
services I
You
provide.
deserve it, Scott. There's no doubt in my mind you deserve it. So,
But
yeah. And I hope any of the community, the people from the Heroes community that might be watching this can see, like it's
yeah,
the fact that you haven't taken anything. It's a good thing, because every other project developer out there is creaming it. Most of them, a lot of them are getting taken to court now.
right. Well, and that's the other thing. I mean, we have to do it on the up and up, and be transparent about everything that we're doing.
Yeah. It's a minefield running this type of thing, and I think a lot of people just jump in and make a lot of money really quickly, certainly during the bull run.
Right.
And I don't think they actually really thought about what they were doing, and now of course they're getting bitten in the backside, as it were. But I've always looked at things differently. You can, like, Rome wasn't built in a day, and they say that it's a very, and in the pyramids, like, goodness knows how they were actually made. There's so many ideas out there, but the reality is that if something is worth building, it's worth building right, and you can't shortcut or fast track that. It takes time, takes effort.
Yeah. And I will ask you this last question. I put a post on Twitter this morning, and let me find it so I'm not. And I read an article in Yahoo Finance, and it was essentially a gentleman stating that the crypto market, Web3s, NFTs, it is done. It's dead. It's going to zero. It's not going to have any kind of a future. And this is the same guy that called the last recession, or last recession in 2008. He called and predicted that well in advance. And now he's predicting that, crypto is completely over. It's all done. And I look at that article and I say, well, geez, in 2008, if I would have put, I don't know, $1,000 into the stock market, right, during that crash, I would have.
You'd be rich right now. Yeah.
Right. Well, maybe not rich, but I'd be a hell of a lot better off, right?
Yeah.
Rather than listening to everyone, and all their fear and, uncertainty and doubt, right? FUD. It is essentially what this guy is saying is it's FUD in the real world. And, my thought there is that article kind of made me more bullish on, like, I hope this, like,
hope he's wrong. Yeah.
I hope this bear market, like, runs a little longer, because I just want to keep accumulating. That's my thought is
I do buy the dip, to be honest with you. I try and limit it at the moment. I'm uncertain what's going to happen. I've read some horrible articles, and I'm part of some groups that I don't actually talk much in, but I read what other people are talking. And people are saying that it's going to drop to $400 roughly between now and June. But what I think to myself is, if that happens, like, it's just an awesome opportunity. I've missed two opportunities. Like I actually had multiple Bitcoins and sold them for just over $3,000 each. And
Mhm.
um, you know, like if I'd have just held on to them, like it was only three of them, but you know, it would have been what, like at the peak, if I'd have sold it at 45k, what's that? So, you know, 120k, so 135k. You know, I'm not talking about being rich, but it's life-changing money for an average person.
Right.
So really, yeah, if ETH does go down to $400, my initial thoughts are I'm going to be buying as many as I can.
Right.
Um, because I believe that you know, it's if you're rich and the rich people get together, and I could be totally wrong. Okay, so I want to say before I say this isn't like fact. This isn't you know, this is how I perceive something that I've spent a long time observing. Now, because of the way it works, like if you can manipulate that price down, yeah, by all of the fear, uncertainty, you know, all the FUD basically, you know,
Mhm.
bad talking crypto everywhere in the media, right? Drive that price down, right? And then stick your 10 million quid into it, right? And then change your tune, and then all of a sudden pay people to write articles about how good cryptocurrency is, and all of a sudden it goes back up again, and you've just made 100 million or whatever. That's how the rich people roll, right?
Right.
So, you know, if right now, if I had 100 million quid, I probably would be thinking, how can I drive the price of Ethereum down so
Right.
that I can buy it and make as much profit on it as possible when it goes back up? Because I've seen this happen twice, and third time lucky.
That's right. That's right. Third time's the charm.
Third time
I'm
lucky. Yeah,
I'm with you. Yeah,
yeah.
I've been through this market once before, and it's. I mean, yeah, there's a lot more public awareness because of
Mm,
the regular media, but I have no doubt that at some point it will return. It's just a matter of when. And
time.
again, not
Yeah.
financial advice. Don't hold me to any of this. This is my strategy. Is that I am accumulating right now. I'm
Yeah,
accumulating.
I have to admit, I have been accumulating, but um, on a smaller level to you, Scott, I would have thought. Yeah, but I
Yeah.
have been. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do a whole lot. With inflation and the cost of just the everyday items that a year ago were a third of the price.
Mm,
There's less funds to put in, but every week I'm putting a little bit into this, a little bit into that. Mostly blue chip, and occasionally I'm buying heroes,
mm,
and other good projects that I believe in that I feel like are going to have legs and will be able to survive this, because
hmm.
really it is people that are out there that are working, that are aware of the market that we're in, and
Yeah.
you are obviously aware you launched in this market, so where
Yeah.
we're and a lot of projects that I talk to that started in this market, they look at it as an opportunity that there is
There's less
time to build,
competition for a
less
certain. Yeah.
competition, right? And the thing is, there's nowhere to go but up, right? I
Hmm.
mean, there might be a little bit more pullback. I
Yeah.
I
I
personally,
just want to recap on what I said about the $400. I
yeah,
don't believe it's going to go to $400.
okay,
Um, I saw it drop down to like 800. I think it was 800 or
yep,
$700. Yeah, and I bought, of course, I bought some. You know,
yeah,
but and it's gone back up now, and it's kind of stayed pretty level. It's been dead for a while, hasn't it? You know, I know it's gone up
yep,
a couple $100 here and there, but generally it's like kind of flatlined. If you zoom out, it's a flat line, right?
hmm,
That's going to change. You know, if you look at all of the charts, again, I'm not a financial advisor. So this is my opinion. Just want to make that absolutely clear. My opinion is that we're going to flatline for a bit, and we're going to have another bull run, because because if you've got a lot of money, it's an easy way to make money. You get together with your friends, you know, all your other rich friends, you know, you pay for these articles to put the fear and uncertainty, you know, and drive the price down, sell all your bags, drive the price down even further, get your mates to sell their bags as well. Then other people have heard and they're watching you, or, you know, all of a sudden there's this great collapse and the price plummets.
yep,
And then of course, what do? Of course, you put your millions and millions or however much you got
Right.
back into it because you know for a fact that your mates are going to do the same. And then once you've all done it, then the next layer of the circle, they've seen, oh, you know, they jump, they ape in,
Yep.
and it's like a ripple effect. You got the big boys first, the
Yep.
big ape, and then the outer circle, and it's a ripple effect, and it gets the investors are getting smaller and smaller as the ripples go further out.
Right.
And again, my personal opinion, not financial advisor, but I will be.
Yeah.
I'd eat my hat. I'd eat my hat if crypto goes to zero. In fact, I'll say now, if crypto goes to zero, I will make a video of me eating a hat and put it on YouTube. There you go.
There we go. There we
Yeah,
go.
it's
Um, yeah, and I agree. I don't believe $400 is in the cards,
no,
personally, but I think we could see a bottom back again at 800. I think that's a pretty
yeah,
solid floor for Ethereum.
yeah,
I don't know. It may not. It may just hold and hover in that 12 to $1,400 mark.
mm,
But I think there's a possibility that it could, try and test the waters at that 800 mark before doing
yeah,
anything else. And I think that'll be where people will really determine, especially those that read charts, will determine on how it reacts when it hits that mark as
mm.
to what the potential of the market is.
What
If
resistance is going to, is the resistance going to be enough to make the breakout?
right,
That's, you
right.
know, it,
Yeah.
who
So
knows? I honestly don't think nobody can know. I just, all these people who read charts, I do understand it's like making an educated guess, but it's
it is.
still a bloody guess,
It
right?
is. Yes.
Yeah,
Yep. And it's a guess, but you also got to look at the people that have been in this space, since 2009 with
mm,
the introduction of Bitcoin, right? And what they have done since then and the money they have made. I don't think those people are ever going away, right?
no,
They
it's addictive to them, isn't it? It's addictive to
well,
everybody. Making money at the end of the day it's an addictive thing. These
right.
people aren't going. They've made huge amounts of money already. They're just waiting for the next opportunity to make the next huge amount of money. It's
Yep.
coming. And when
Yep.
it comes, everybody's going to jump back on that bandwagon, and all you're going to hear about is how crypto's going through the roof, and everyone's going to be
Yep.
kicking themselves that they didn't buy in at the bottom. I've seen it twice, and
Yep.
I'm
Here come the
sure I'm going to see
Bitcoin
it. Yeah,
predictions of 250 grand, right?
exactly. Yeah,
So everyone's like aping in because they don't want to miss that train.
yeah,
And so I don't see it going away any personally.
no,
I think that we'll be in this for a little bit, and until
mm,
we see something, and I think that starts with our economies. Once the
yeah,
economy starts to level out, once they've got the inflation under control, once it the
hmm
salaries are compensating for the inflation. I think that things will start to normalize. You'll see the stock market start to return, and then not too long after that, the crypto market will also
recover. Mm.
recover. But
They're tied together directly. I've got a family member, and he's made an awful lot of money on real stocks and shares. And he's
mhm.
delved into crypto as well. I'm trying to convince him to be a validator actually, because he's got enough ETH to be a validator. So I'm trying to get him to do that. Cut a long story short, it's like I'm not actually sure where I was going with that. To be fair, I've lost my train of thought. My apologies on that. Yeah, it'll come back to me in a moment. Yeah.
All good.
No good.
Well,
Yeah, I've been talking a long time now. Yeah,
we've been going for an hour and
yeah.
20 minutes. I know we had a little bit
I
of
feel like I had something really important to say. Really, really important there. It's gone though.
well, all
Yeah,
good, and we'll have you back. But with going an hour and 20, I try to keep these at an hour, so we get people watching them
yeah.
because depending on when we broadcast. But
hmm
with that, any closing statements that you'd like to share? Something we may not have covered about SpaceX. Maybe a little bit of a tip or a sneak peek of what's coming.
Um, what's coming? So in the future, we're going to do. We haven't implemented the upgrade contracts yet. That's going to be quite exciting. Essentially, what we want to be able to do is allow people to upgrade their and it will be the generation one. Generation one is the most important one because that gives you the 50% off the buy and sell tax, and they're also going to be upgradable NFTs. When we implement that, it's going to be good not only for the market cap, because the money that is the revenue that's generated from those upgrades goes directly into the market cap of the token. So when that comes, things will advance. But right now, there's no need to beat around the bush. We are a very, very new token and NFT collection. And we really want people to come and join the community. So that's it, basically. If you want to be part of a really cool community that's got some really friendly people in it, and we network a lot, so come to us and you'll meet other people as well. And yeah, let's try and do something honest and genuine, that's not here today and gone tomorrow. That's all I'd like to say. Please come and join our community. I'm sure there will be something for you in our community, and if not, you haven't lost anything, right?
Absolutely. And yeah, and I want to thank you, David, for coming on and sharing your project with us. I think it's awesome. I think it's great what you're building. I know you kind of enlightened me a little bit about this, a little while ago, that this was coming, and I was excited for you. I send you an applause, because it's not easy to start a project. Takes a lot of work, takes a lot of money, and a lot of your time and devotion. And, that's what a lot of people don't see. And the fact that you're building this, you're doxing yourself, you're making sure you're doing it responsibly for your community, those are all awesome traits. And yeah, so I encourage everyone to take a look at SpaceX, follow them on Telegram, follow them on Twitter, see what they're up to, stop into their Telegram chat, talk to David, just say, hey, what's up? Great guy, has awesome tidbits of information on a little bit of everything. But yeah, with
Thank
that,
you, Scott.
Absolutely. I want to thank everyone for joining us, and I'm going to call it a day, and you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Just before we go, just quickly,
yeah.
I just want to say, sorry, you gave me the opportunity a minute ago. I just want to say to everyone, I have an open door policy. So, I'm very humble. I'm not an arrogant person at all. I'm there for anyone that wants to come and talk to me, certainly specifically about the project itself. So, and I just want to say again, thank you to Scott. And I love the Heroes community. So thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You take care.